So, what is our sin? We are continuing our series on hamartiology. What sin are we going to talk about today? Well, James tells us that a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. That's James 1:8. Double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. The word for unstable here is akatastatos. And in this context, it refers to a man who cannot thank God for his trials. So James has told us, count it all joy when you meet various trials. When you see a trial coming down the road after you, you should roll up your shirt sleeves. You should spit on your hands and thank the Lord for it. And a man who can't do that, James describes as a double-minded man who just waffles back and forth, and because of that, he's unstable. All right, so this unstable man is going to be bright and sunny when it's bright and sunny out, and he's going to be tumultuous and stormy when it's stormy out. A few verses before this, James has famously stated that if a man lacks wisdom, he should ask God for it. But this verse, if any lack wisdom, let him ask of God. This verse is not, as so many assume, asking wisdom in taking this or that course of action. The Bible in this passage in James, it's not talking about praying to God when you don't know whether to buy the Ford or the Toyota, or praying intensely for wisdom when you're deciding between the Ford and the Chevy. It's not talking about wisdom about a practical choice like a Ford or Chevy. Now, I'm not saying it's bad to ask for wisdom when you don't know what to do, but this verse is talking about the person who lacks wisdom with regard to counting it all joy in a trial. So James has told us when you're confronted with a trial, you should count it all joy. If anybody lacks wisdom, here's the context. If anybody lacks wisdom, parenthesis, about how to do that, about how to ask God for joy when you're confronted with trials, then you should make a point of asking God for that wisdom. So the place where we need wisdom is in the counting it all joy when trials come over us. We need to ask for wisdom in that circumstance, and we need to do it without wavering. We don't like tough things happening to us because we don't like the process of being made tough. We don't like tough things happening because we don't like the way it feels when we're being made tough. Now, in Hebrews 12, it says that we should basically, no discipline seems pleasant at the time, but painful. But then he says, afterward, it yields the peaceful fruit of an upright life. So the blessing of the toughening process is a delayed gratification blessing. It's a blessing that comes later. So when a trial is coming, we need to thank God for it. We need to, it says in Ephesians, always and for everything, giving thanks in the name of God. So we need to thank God for the trials. We need to see that trial on the road on the road down from us, headed our way. And when we see that trial coming our way, we need to thank God for it, and we need to thank God for it without wavering. If we don't do that, then we're double-minded. And if we're double-minded, then we're unstable in the midst of our trial, which is the last place where we should be unstable. So let me go over that again. If we're double-minded, then we are unstable in the midst of trial. If we're unstable in the midst of trial, that's the last place we should be unstable. If we're unstable in the midst of trial, then that's just another way of saying that we're unstable, period.